You were told your freezer was your friend. That behind the frosty glass and humming motor lay convenience, maybe even safety. After all, frozen meant preserved. Clean. Ready. A gift for tired hands, for aching knees that could no longer bear the hours of slicing, dicing, and stirring over a hot stove. But what if that promise, that ease, came at a price few have dared to name? I've watched it unfold in clinic after clinic. Gentle, aging hands reaching for help, unaware they've already welcomed the enemy into their home. Because in those tidy cardboard boxes and shiny plastic pouches lies a quiet, frozen betrayal. A betrayal of your arteries. Your memory. Your legs. Your sleep. You see, when we talk about heart attacks or strokes, most imagine dramatic moments, a collapse, a siren. But the truth is far less cinematic and far more cruel. The real danger creeps in quietly, meal by meal, year by year, until one morning your reflection stares back at you with confusion. Your energy is gone. Your legs are heavier. You forget why you opened the fridge. You sit more, walk less. Your heart flutters. And all along, your freezer held the match to this slow-burning fire. Let me tell you what I've seen. Margaret was 74. Proud, independent, widowed 10 years and still mowing her own lawn. But one fall, she came in complaining of dizziness. Swelling in her ankles. A fog she couldn't shake. Her labs weren't alarming, but her blood pressure was creeping. Her memory, once sharp as a tack, had softened at the edges. She ate well, she thought. No fast food, barely any red meat. But in her freezer? Piles of healthy frozen meals. Breaded fish. Breakfast sandwiches. Fruit smoothie packs labeled superfood. And suddenly, I saw it clearly, her kitchen had become the battlefield. Frozen breaded fish. It sounds harmless. Even healthy, if you believe the packaging. But what's hidden in those golden crusts is a chemistry set of sabotage. Start with the oils, hydrogenated, industrial, toxic to the endothelium, the delicate lining of your arteries. Then add sodium, often over 500 milligrams per serving, enough to raise pressure in vessels already stiffened by time. And then, the glycation end products ages, invisible villains that accelerate arterial aging and wreak havoc on insulin signaling. When we tested Margaret's labs more deeply, her kidney filtration had slowed. Her heart's left ventricle had thickened, early signs of silent hypertension. And no one had warned her. Not the box. Not the label. Not even the frozen aisle clerk who smiled and said, "These are heart healthy." She cried when I told her. Not from fear, but from betrayal. I thought I was doing everything right, she said. And she was, by today's standards. But not by her heart's. Because those fillets? They're usually cheap Basa or Pollock, pumped with phosphates to fake freshness. Phosphates that steal calcium from your bones and glue it to your arteries. And the worst part? Seniors absorb more sodium and phosphate than younger adults. Their kidneys can't filter it as well. Their hearts can't compensate as fast. Breaded fish may have once been a symbol of Friday night comfort. But in older bodies, it becomes a slow, cardiac poison. Now let's move to the pizza. A favorite. A ritual for some. For many seniors, frozen pizza becomes dinner more nights than they'll admit. It's easy, after all, no chopping, no pots. Just heat, eat, done. But here's what happens inside. That crust, stripped of fiber, is pure starch flooding your bloodstream with sugar, triggering insulin surges, and quietly hardening your vessels. That cheese? Often not cheese at all, but a blend of oils and emulsifiers that raise blood lipids and block calcium regulation. And the salt? In one small frozen pizza, often more than an entire day's allowance, sometimes nearing 1,200 milligrams. Sodium builds in the blood, drawing water into vessels already narrowed by plaque. Blood pressure spikes. The heart strains. And yet no one connects the dots. The dizziness after eating. The bloat. The fatigue. It's just age, they're told. But it's not.
It's inflammation. It's endothelial dysfunction.
It's nitrate-filled meats and phosphate-laced toppings confusing the very signals that keep your blood flowing and your brain sharp. I once asked a patient who ate frozen pizza 4 nights a week to stop for 1 month. That's all. When she came back, her blood pressure had dropped 14 points. Her swelling was gone. Her memory? Clearer than it had been in 2 years. Now let me show you another trap, the frozen smoothie pack. At first glance, it looks innocent, colorful fruits, antioxidant blend stamped on the bag. But peel back the label and you'll find high glycemic fruits like pineapple and mango, flash frozen and stripped of the fiber that normally slows sugar absorption. You blend it, drink it, and for 20 minutes you feel fantastic. Energy spikes. Brain lights up. But then, the crash. Fatigue, irritability, brain fog. It wasn't just sugar. It was betrayal dressed as health. You see, seniors process glucose differently. Even without diabetes, post-meal sugar spikes can cause massive endothelial stress. A single fruit smoothie can stiffen arteries for hours, trigger insulin resistance, and set the stage for long-term vascular damage. And yet, no warning. No label that says, may contribute to stroke risk in aging adults. If you've ever felt tired after a smoothie, or found yourself hungrier an hour later, you're not broken. Your body is asking for protection. It's pleading for something deeper. And finally, we come to the frozen breakfast sandwich. A symbol of modern efficiency. Eggs, cheese, sausage, a meal in seconds. But this convenience is triple wrapped in harm. The biscuit? White flour and seed oils, spiking blood sugar before your day has even begun. The meat? Nitrate-laced, preserved, inflammatory. The egg? Often a powdered blend, reheated into oblivion, full of additives that inflame the gut and confuse immune signaling. In clinic, I've seen seniors who eat these daily and wonder why their mornings are filled with fatigue, fog, even blurred vision. It's not just aging. It's endothelial breakdown. It's subclinical hypertension. It's arrhythmia brewing silently under the surface. One study found that adults over 60 who consumed more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium daily, easily surpassed by 2 frozen meals, had a 71% increased risk of left-sided heart failure. These aren't rare numbers. They are the silent epidemic in our aging population. And here's the hardest truth of all, no one tells you this. Not your grocer. Not the packaging. Not even most doctors, who themselves haven't learned the full metabolic impact of these so-called easy meals. But now you know. And knowledge, in this case, is not just power, it's protection. Let's breathe. Because this story does not end in despair. There are frozen foods, humble, quiet, that carry a power equal and opposite to all that damage. They're not flashy. They don't shout on labels. But they heal. They nourish. They protect. And they begin with something green, simple, and often overlooked, frozen spinach. It was in a quiet examination room, years ago, where I first truly understood the power of frozen spinach. My patient, Helen, was 81. Soft-spoken, widowed, and tired in ways she couldn't describe. Her blood pressure had crept higher with each passing year. Medications dulled the numbers, but not the fatigue, not the breathlessness on stairs, not the coldness in her fingertips. But then she did something most people overlook, she started eating frozen spinach. 1 cup a day. In omelets, stirred into soups, tossed into warm grains. And something shifted. Her blood pressure dropped, not dramatically, but meaningfully. Her hands were warmer. Her walks longer. Her spirit lighter. What changed? Nitrate. Not the artificial kind from processed meats, but the natural, leafy kind your body turns into nitric oxide, the molecule of flow. Nitric oxide is how your arteries relax. It's how blood reaches your brain, your muscles, your fingertips. It's how your heart says, I'm safe. And spinach, especially when frozen at peak ripeness, is one of the richest natural sources of this precious compound. According to a study in clinical nutrition, seniors who ate just one serving of spinach daily experienced an 11-point drop in systolic blood pressure in a single week. That's more effective than many drugs, with none of the side effects.
Frozen spinach doesn't ask much of you. No chopping. No washing. No spoilage. Just open the bag, add it to your pan, and let it work its quiet magic. But that's only the beginning. Next came a food I never expected to recommend to my older patients. A food that some consider odd, others forget entirely. But in the body, it performs miracles: shelled soybeans, or as they're better known, frozen edamame. When patients ask me, "Doctor, what can I eat to help my arteries?" I don't reach for exotic powders or expensive supplements. I tell them to look in the freezer. Because edamame is not just protein, it's medicine. These small green beans contain a compound called isoflavones, plant-based molecules that gently mimic estrogen's protective effect on blood vessels. And after menopause, when estrogen declines, this becomes crucial. Arterial stiffness increases. Blood pressure rises. Circulation weakens. But soy isoflavones can soften that blow. In fact, a 2021 meta-analysis in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension found that soy-rich diets in older adults reduced systolic blood pressure by nearly 6 points on average. That's not minor. That's 6 points fewer for your heart to strain against every single beat. But there's more. Edamame also contains arginine, an amino acid that helps your body create more nitric oxide, doubling down on blood flow support. And unlike processed meats, edamame is naturally low in sodium and rich in fiber, supporting stable blood sugar, a healthy gut, and lower inflammation. For seniors dealing with fatigue, rising cholesterol, or brain fog, this is foundational. In the clinic, I've seen patients switch from frozen meat patties to edamame and report better sleep, steadier energy, and even clearer thinking within weeks. It's not magic. It's medicine, disguised as food. Steam it, toss it with sea salt and olive oil, and you've just served your heart a healing meal. Then come the berries. Not the syrupy ones in smoothie packs. Not the sugar-laced pies. But the real ones: frozen blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, nature's vascular shield. You see, these berries contain anthocyanins, dark pigments that don't just color your food. They repair your arteries. They reduce inflammation. They lower LDL cholesterol, improve insulin sensitivity, and protect the delicate endothelial lining that keeps blood flowing freely. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who consumed berries daily had an 11% reduction in LDL cholesterol and a 9% improvement in arterial flexibility. But more than that, they felt better. Clearer. Calmer. Stronger. You don't need a lot. A half cup a day. Tossed into oatmeal. Blended into a protein shake. Or eaten straight from the bowl, like a child rediscovering the joy of simple things. And don't let the frost fool you, frozen berries are often healthier than fresh. They're picked at peak ripeness and frozen within hours, locking in nutrients that degrade on supermarket shelves. But only if you skip the sweeteners, the added syrups, the tropical fruit blends that spike your sugar and strain your vessels. Stick to the deep colors. The bitter hints. The fiber-rich berries that feed not just you, but the microbes in your gut that create anti-inflammatory compounds and help regulate your immune system. Yes, your freezer can protect your heart if you choose wisely. Which brings us to the last surprise on this list. A food most wouldn't dream of calling healthy. A food associated with game day and indulgence. But under the right conditions, it becomes a secret ally: unbreaded, oven-baked, or air-fried frozen chicken wings. I know. It sounds like a joke. But stay with me. You see, not all protein is created equal. For seniors, muscle mass is medicine. It keeps you upright, burns sugar, protects your joints, and supports your heart. And chicken wings, without breading or frying, contain complete amino acids, collagen, and micronutrients that support both muscle and vascular health. They're high in type 1 and 3 collagen, which help keep artery walls flexible and strong. They contain zinc and selenium, critical for immune balance and cholesterol regulation.
And when prepared simply, without industrial oils or flours, they become a powerful, low-carb source of clean energy. A 2022 study in nutrients found that seniors who consumed more protein from poultry had a 41% lower risk of cardiovascular events over 5 years.
That's not anecdote. That's data. And here's the kicker, they're satisfying.
They prevent the grazing and sugar cravings that follow low-protein meals.
They anchor your blood sugar. They keep you full and stable, even into the night. But preparation is everything. Skip the commercial frozen wings drenched in sauces, seed oils, or breading.
Choose plain frozen wings. Season them yourself with garlic, turmeric, rosemary, and cook them in an oven or air fryer.
No oil needed.
And suddenly, you have a meal that supports your muscle, your joints, your vessels, and your dignity.
Because that's what this is really about, isn't it? Dignity. Not just surviving, but thriving.
Not just getting older, but growing stronger, wiser, more rooted in who you are.
Aging is not decay. It is refinement.
But it must be nourished,
protected, respected. And now, finally, you know what your freezer can do. It can break you. Or it can build you.
Every so often, I sit across from someone in their 70s or 80s who looks me in the eye and says something I'll never forget.
I didn't think I'd make it this far. There's always a pause after. A hush.
As if they're remembering something private.
An illness they overcame.
A spouse they buried. A war, perhaps, or a child they raised while putting their own needs aside.
And in that quiet moment, I remember what medicine so often forgets. Aging is a triumph. But it's also fragile.
And that's why the decisions we make now, in the small, everyday moments, what we put on our plate, what we heat in our microwave, what we reach for in our freezer, these decisions shape the rest of the journey.
Not in theory. In truth. Because the body after 60 is not like the body before. It listens more closely. It holds on to wounds longer.
It whispers warnings that are easy to miss unless you're paying attention.
A skipped heartbeat. Swollen feet. A foggy morning. A restless night. These are not signs of aging.
They are signs of a body asking for help. And often, they trace back to something as simple and as profound as food. I've watched patients in their 60s change nothing but their freezer habits and see transformation: clearer skin, steadier moods, lighter steps, stronger grip, even a return of joy in movement.
Not from magic pills. From real food. But you must know what to keep, and what to let go. Let go of the breaded fish that steals your circulation.
Let go of the frozen pizza that hardens your arteries under a false promise of cheese. Let go of the smoothie packs that spike your sugar and leave your brain starved. Let go of the breakfast sandwich that fills your morning with salt and artificial fire.
These are not food.
They are engineered illusions, made for profit, not protection.
In their place, welcome back the guardians of your body. Spinach, silent, humble, rich in life-giving nitrate.
Edamame, soft and strong, filled with compounds that mimic the very hormones that once protected you. Berries, small but mighty, dripping with anthocyanins that cool inflammation and repair the riverbanks of your bloodstream. Chicken wings, yes, wings unbreaded, seasoned by your hand, cooked with care, rich in collagen and strength. Because every time you nourish yourself with foods like these, you do more than eat.
You remember who you are.
You reject the story that aging is decline. You declare instead that this body, your body, is still worth defending, feeding, honoring.
There's a kind of strength in elders that no youth can imitate.
Not the strength of muscle, but of memory. Not the speed of the step, but the wisdom of where it lands.
And that strength deserves to be upheld.
Not weakened by deceptive foods that slowly dull the light you still carry. I have sat beside too many beds, held too many hands, and heard too many regrets that began with food.
I didn't think it mattered. I thought I was eating well. No one told me. I'm telling you now. It matters. You matter.
And your next meal, yes, even the one in your freezer, can either dim or ignite your path forward.
Don't let your kitchen become a place of harm. Make it holy again.
Make it a place where blood pressure falls without pills. Where inflammation eases without prescriptions. Where your heart beats not with strain, but with steadiness. Where food becomes not a threat, but a prayer of healing. Because the truth is, after 60, there is no such thing as neutral food. Every bite is either feeding illness or nurturing strength. Every meal is a vote for vitality or for decline. So choose the spinach. Choose the berries. Choose the wings that fuel your body, not betray it. And most of all, choose yourself. The part of you that still wants to dance. The part that still has stories to tell. The part that, no matter how many birthdays pass, still looks at life and whispers, "I'm not done." You're not done. You are rebuilding. With every forkful, every frozen bag of greens instead of breaded starch, every thoughtful choice made when no one is watching, this is your quiet revolution. So tonight, when you open your freezer, don't ask what's easy. Ask what is sacred. And choose the foods that honor your journey. The ones that whisper back, "I'm here to help you stay strong." Because you deserve not just years, but years filled with light. With clarity. With movement. With peace. This body of yours is not broken. It is a masterpiece that's been carrying you across decades. Now it's asking you for care. For kindness. For real nourishment. You don't have to be perfect. Just present. Just awake. Just willing to see the truth behind the frost. And to begin again with a handful of berries, a bowl of edamame, a plate of spinach, and maybe, just maybe, a few unbreaded wings that taste not like indulgence, but like resilience. You are not too old to change. You are exactly the right age to heal. And your freezer? It can be either a quiet killer or a hidden ally. Choose wisely. Your heart is listening. If this message stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Click subscribe to walk this path of strength with us. Tap the bell so you never miss a truth your body needs to hear. And in the comments, tell us, which food are you letting go of today, and which one will you now keep close? Your story matters. We're listening. And we're here for every step of your journey forward.